Hot topic for Wednesday, May 7th here on Morning Kickaround. I'm Robert. He's Jason. Whew. Let's jump into this one. Is the current political climate going to be a problem for next year's World Cup? Well, tourism numbers are already down, according to the Commerce Department. There has been 17% less visitors from Western Europe than this time last year, and then a 24% drop from Central and South America. And on top of that, comments and the new task force in charge of the World Cup, including the son of Rudy Giuliani and Carlos Cordero, former USSF executive.
Former U.S. soccer president before he was run out of town. But yes.
Yeah, so that, just only heightens the concern perhaps tourists might have. And then on top of that, the vice president made some jokes that maybe weren't so funny.
I'm going to set that. We're going to play that. All right, we are. And I will admit, for anybody who's watching, we are touching the stove, right? This is hot topic. We are risking getting burned on Morning Kickaround today. But I feel like, and Rob and I agreed on this, it is impossible to avoid this as part of the discussion around soccer in America right now. We just cannot let this we can't act like this isn't happening, right? So here's what Rob, if you haven't seen it, here's what Rob was talking about from yesterday's event. Was it yesterday, Rob? Around,
I believe so, yeah.
The World Cup and the committee to get things ready for next year.
As all of you know, soccer is a sport of incredible grace and finesse and beauty. These are three things that have nothing to do with politics, and so we're thrilled to have the FIFA World Cup in the United States of America. I think that you'll see the very best of the United States of America, both in athletic competition, but also in hospitality, something our boss knows quite a bit about. And so we're excited to have you. We're excited for this event, and we will do everything at the government level to make this thing as successful as we can. And I will say, before I turn it over to the next speaker, that, of course, everybody is welcome to come and see this incredible event. I know we'll have visitors probably from close to 100 countries. We want them to come. We want them to celebrate. We want them to watch the game. But when the time is up, they'll have to go home. Otherwise, they'll have to talk to Secretary Noem, who I'll turn it over to now.
So are you laughing at that joke, Jason?
I'm not somebody who's going to laugh at that joke. I don't understand the mentality that makes someone think that's funny. Like, I don't get it, Rob. Maybe, and I guess you could say it's about politics. You could say it's about my particular ideologies and how I view the world. And that's different from the way J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, views the world. But I just don't get why in that moment, the second highest ranking public official in our country felt it necessary to say, you're welcome to come, but you can't stay. Get the hell out. Like, how is that a joke? Like, for anybody, how does that not stop people in their tracks when they're considering coming to America? Particularly when you read the news and you see, and I don't want to get into individual cases and I don't want to litigate this stuff that's out there. Go read it. When we've seen people who have, very questionably been picked up and sent other places or been denied entry to the country. There have been foreign visitors who have been denied entry to the country. Again, the reporting suggests that those people were denied entry to the country because they had social media posts that were critical of our president, perhaps of some of the things that we're talking about now, perhaps some of the very things that J.D. Vance is suggesting that the U.S. government might do when a World Cup is coming. This is supposed to be the world's party. This is supposed to be the biggest thing that ever happens on this planet that's not connected to, to politics or to intercontinental debate and discussion and trade. No, this is supposed to be just, hey, let's open the doors. I'm not saying that all the rules and laws go out the window. I'm not saying it's a free-for-all, but every country has rules and laws around this. So you get a visa to go visit a country, right? Like, I had a tourist visa to go to Spain last year. It said I could be there for a certain amount of time, and then I had to go home, right? Now, I could have risked staying in Spain I could have risked hanging around and eventually getting in trouble and the authorities dealing. But I know what the rules are. Like, it's not, I don't need to be told that I'm not allowed to stay there indefinitely because I'm a foreign visitor. If I'm not a citizen, if I don't have permanent residency, I know I'm not an idiot. I know I have to leave. So why is it necessary for JD Vance? Unless the whole point is to just, again, drive home that they want to kick a lot of people out of this country in that moment. Why does he feel it necessary in that moment?
And aside from the political aspect to this, it's the how many parties I haven't been to a party that I risked arrest at since I turned 21. That dissuades. And if from a business perspective, if the numbers are down in the market, why would you intimate something that would discourage that maybe even more? Like if I was, coming from overseas and be like, oh, there's a chance I might get detained, but I'm going to go for it anyway. That doesn't encourage, that didn't fill anyone with confidence that this was going to go well and smoothly for them. And it's just, it doesn't seem like so you're at an event promoting coming to the country, and then you just throw that, like, I don't know if that's just like almost like a neg, just like, oh, we'd love to have you, but
yeah. That's
what
the
invitation?
thing.
No good invitation
Again,
has a but.
He must have thought it was funny. He really must have thought it was legitimately funny, because I don't understand why in that moment when the whole world is watching what you're saying, because you are hosting the biggest event on the planet. And let's keep in mind, from the perspective of a European or a South American who or an African who might be visiting the country, who might want to follow their team for the World Cup. They are choosing, they're thinking about going to a country that obviously has a lot going for it in terms of facilities and the stadiums and accommodations. We should have all that taken care of. I mean, I'm not sure it's going to go all perfectly smoothly, but we have all those things. But it's also not a country that is known for centering this sport, right? If you go to a World Cup, now the last two have been weird. Right, we had Qatar and we had Russia, and I know soccer's big in Russia, but it's probably not the national sport. You wouldn't call it the national sport of Russia.
It's no hockey.
No. But in most of the time, when you think about what a World Cup is supposed to be, you're thinking about it happening in a country where soccer is life. It is the center of sporting culture in that place. Whether it's Germany or Brazil, South Africa, I guess we could maybe question that. And FIFA has been trying to broaden its horizons. I understand that's part of the deal. But there's also just this. Okay, America cast a shadow over the rest of the world. Our cultural influence, all the financial influence, all that stuff, right? The policemen of the world, all that stuff that comes with being basically an American empire. Let's just call it what it is. So there's already some testy feelings and some weirdness. Like, people want to come here to settle and raise their families and do those things, which maybe that is also changing. I mean, maybe that's the point of what JD Vance said, is to discourage people from other places coming here anymore, which I think is a travesty, because I see America
How
as
many
exactly
tourists?
that.
How many tourist towns are in the United States of America, and how many cities in the United States benefit from tourism?
I mean, I know you mentioned those numbers, and definitely tourism is down. I was at a hotel on my way out of San Francisco the other night, and people next to us were speaking German. Whether they were American speaking German, I don't know for sure, but it seemed like they might have been visiting. I caught a bunch of different languages in Napa Valley while I was walking around at various places. So I know that people want to come here still, and they want to partake of this. I guess what I'm saying about the soccer stuff is, if you already kind of have like weird feelings about America, like you don't want to immigrate to America. So how do you view America's influence on the world? You might not view it all that positively, depending on where you're from. And then they're saying, hey, come to our party. Oh, but by the way, also, if you stay for even just a little bit longer than you're supposed to, you're going to be dealt with by DHS. Like that is, it's basically saying the police are standing by. JD Vance said the police will be watching you. Who wants to come to a party like that? Who wants to come celebrate what is supposed to be an incredible opportunity to see a World Cup? I don't know, man.
I might follow it up with another bad joke here. So if there's no tourists coming to the World Cup in 2026, would that mean there's more tickets available and they might be more affordable for the domestic fan?
Oh man, that is. I understand why your brain goes in that direction, Rob, but it's a very distressing and depressing thought. It is absolutely that. I think it would be a disaster for American soccer if this is not if this is not a good World Cup. I don't mean on the field. I mean in terms of the people that come, how many people how many people come, the opportunities they have to follow and see their teams play. I mean, I don't think that that would be good for the growth of the game. So you could say, well, maybe tickets will be cheaper. And I'm a soccer fan, and being selfish, I would rather have cheaper tickets so I can go see the World Cup than have this incredibly successul tournament that basically means that ticket prices will be high because everybody wants to come. But I can't be that selfish. Like I can't see it that way. In terms of the greater good, we want this to be the celebration because 94 was that in a country that was still in its infancy in terms of caring about this game. And we're teenagers now. I mean, I know time doesn't work that way, but in fact, in terms of how much we care about soccer, we have grown dramatically, but we're still not to a point where the game is sort of top page news all the time. I would like it to get there. I really would. I care about that. I want soccer to grow, and on a good World Cup and a welcoming World Cup, I think are critical to that.
One last question from the comment section from Flaba Sports. Will this mix of American exceptionalism, geopolitics, will it play a factor in the men's national team performance next year?
Well, I think we would be talking about, these would be intangible things. This wouldn't be, we wouldn't prove it, but I don't know how you can imagine the U.S. men's national team hitting the field next year if there are stories like what we're seeing now. If the country remains going down the same path that it's on right now, Robert, I can't imagine that team won't be impacted by it. That there won't be some cloud hanging over that team, right? And I think there's still plenty of unknowns. And I'm not trying to be Chicken Little. I'm not saying the sky is falling necessarily for the U.S. men's national team, but I don't know that we're thrilled right now with where we are with Mauricio Pochettino and the attitude and the energy and the mentality. And we're talking a lot about that still. And, I know Pochettino directly addressed it in a video that we did where he did a little 4-minute interview. I don't think that means it's fixed. And I don't think this team can be completely disconnected from all those things. And they will be asked about them. Right. That's going to be something that they're going to be. It's probably not fair. Why are you asking an athlete about immigration policy? But it's going to come up. It's going to come up. And it's going to come up. It's not just about Christian Pulisic, who has flown his political flag a little bit. It's not just about Weston McKennie or Tyler Adams, players who were born in this country and for the most part raised in this country. I think about Yunus Musa. I think about Jedi Robinson. I think about Serginho Dest. These are players who are American but didn't grow up here. And when they're asked, or when it's said to them, like, hey, you know what? Your parents might not be, if they came, they might not be welcome. They might be kicked out of the country because they're not citizens. You were born here, but they're not. And by the way, this administration also wants to take away the thing that allowed you to become a citizen by being born.
Yeah, very good point. And that touches on a note from the Morning Kick Around Discord. I think it was Nate that brought up, what happens if the United States men's national team has a bad Gold Cup? Like, what if they don't make the final? Like, where does that leave us? I mean, we're a little bit of a bag without wind at that point, right? But we'll move on.
Those on the field things are also part of this story, and we shall see.
If you become a member on the Morning Kick Around YouTube channel, you not only get access to the Discord channel, but priority commenting, badges, and early access to our videos. And you support us. Thank you so much if you've already done so. But if you haven't, hit that subscribe button and even take it a step further and become a member. You can follow the show on social media at MKickaround on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. You can write us a note. We've gotten those pro-rel manifestos aplenty to review at morningkickaround at gmail.com.
We should create a library of some sort, a document sharing opportunity for these manifestos. We should become like the vault of manifestos.
The Library of Congress of pro-rel ideation.
I love it. Let's do it.
Stamp it. Let's get the IP for that. And you can also support on coffee.com/morningkickaround, a one-time donation or a reoccurring donation. And thank you to everyone who's done so already. And if you prefer podcast format, you can now find Morning Kick Around. Search Morning Kick Around on your favorite audio platforms.